You'll notice he no longer suffers delusions of humanity.
Affirmative.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do. And flip out, man.
Has editing your content become a burden, or you just don't have the skill set?
I wish I could focus on content production, but post-editing takes so much time and effort.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We'll look no further. Here at Asylum 99 Studios, I can help you create professional quality videos that will be sure to captivate viewers. With my creativity and skill, along with your content, assets, and ideas, I can bring your vision into the simulation. I offer the following services: video clipping and organization, content creation, VFX, SFX, and motion graphics, intro and outro assets. Requests may be taken upon further discussion. So if you're a content creator, short on time because you're out living your best life, or you wish you could focus all your energy into producing content, reach out to Asylum 99 Studios today.
What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for?
Don't settle for mediocre videos. Hire me as your freelance video editor and create videos that meet your standards. Asylum 99 Studios. Release your creativity.
What's going on, Ken folks? We back here again. And no, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm just giving the final warnings. Because you see, as I've stated before, the so-called elites and their puppet masters have painted themselves into a corner. We're now at a pivotal moment where the scam and the lies and the tricks don't work anymore. At least for those who are shining lights. You know what I mean? But that's not going to work anymore. I've shown you all the different tactics and weapons that they have pre-staged against you. And a lot of you people are saying it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. But what you have to keep in mind is this. They are running out of time, which means you are running out of time before they do something drastic. Something drastic that alters the world population at large. Don't whine. So, I'm not going to sit here and talk your ears off. Let's go ahead and get to the tape.
I want to talk to you about psychological readiness for what we are about to witness. I was watching an interview of Ed Dowd on the Alex Jones show. Ed's a very smart man. He said, we're going to be facing times here just in the next few months, times of extreme chaos. We cannot predict what's going to occur, but we can predict that what will occur will be many standard deviations outside the normal pattern of typical expectations. In other words, we can accurately predict that what's going to occur will be extremely wild. Why? Well, because the forces that are at work right now are extremely desperate. The Democrat cabal in power right now is highly desperate to stay in power. They are absolutely struggling. Kamala Harris is not actually popular. Yes, they can create the illusion of popularity by having popular music concerts where she appears, and then they pretend that all these people are there for Kamala when they're not. They're there for the music. And they can pay influencers. They can pay people off, bribe people to support Kamala. But they can't create a kind of resonance and empathy. They can't make people love Kamala. They can only make people kind of tolerate her more than they might hate Trump. And that's about as far as they can get. And now with Tim Walz in the picture, with all of his stolen valor accusations, with a lot more dirt coming out each day, it seems increasingly likely that Tim Walz is going to bail, or the Democrats will push him out and replace him with someone else. So it makes you wonder, how many times are they going to have to reprint the fake ballots that they're going to use to steal the election?
Well, I would first like to say that the best thing that they could do is to come out and just tell the truth. The truth that we all know, those of us who are, honest and we actually paying attention to what's going on. Just come out and tell the truth. Y'all cheated. Y'all can't be trusted. You need to be walked to the gallows, etc., etc. But that's not what you're going to do. And that's why we're here today.
Kill me. Say what? Kill me! No. Now that's the easy way out for you.
Because until recently, they were printing them up as Joe Biden. And then they had to change them to Kamala. And now they have to change them to Kamala Walz or Harris Walz. Well, then what are they going to do after they boot Walz out and replace him with somebody? They're going to have to print new ballots again. There's going to be a lot of ballot printing that has to be redone during all of this, because that's part of the way they cheat. And what's interesting to me is that the closer we get to Election Day, the more the clock is running out on the Democrats to pull these shenanigans. So it's actually every single day that we inch forward is a day of victory for us, that is real Americans who want an honest election and who love our country, because it's one less day for those who are going to cheat. It's one less day that they can carry out the cheating.
I want everybody to bear in mind, I did a video, the Blue Cap Legion. If you haven't seen that, I'm sure I'll pin it. But as time is ticking down, all of you who live in metropolises, in urban areas, even suburban areas, you need to remember one thing. Things that we out here in the country understand all too well. The mercenaries, the jackboots, they're already here. It's only a matter of time before they get the go-ahead. Like I've said previously, this year is one of the years something has to go down. Why? Because they kick stuff down the road and it's all piled up, and now it's a big wall obstructing them. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to climb over it, so what could they possibly do? Blow right through it. TNT.
And if we can get, another 45 days into this without them carrying out some massive false flag or some kind of, massive cyber attack or nuclear attack or something along those lines, or financial collapse, then wow. Number one, we should thank God for getting there. And then secondly, we should recognize that that's half the battle, is just running out the clock right now and getting us to Election Day.
And here's where I have a divergence from the more politically active of you, those who believe that politics is really we the people. Politics hasn't been we the people since 1871. And y'all know what I like to say around here. Since Reconstruction. Now, I've told you in a recent video, even if Trump gets in without a hitch, just like his last term, this term he's going to be obstructed. But then after this term, he can't run again. And who else can you really trust in the so-called conservative wing? Who can you trust? You guys need to take this more serious. You can't depend on Donald Trump to save the day. It's that messianic complex. You Christians. I'm not going to beat you upside the head. You Christians. Nobody's coming to save you. take up arms, take up a sword, and save yourself. That's what I say. My ancestors were the Republic, but now that our Republic has been flipped to democracy, it's time for us to all branch off and reconfederate. Because we've all witnessed that the political system is a complete farce.
Because if the election were held today, there's no question in my mind that Trump would win. So we've got to run out the clock on this. Now, we do know that the Democrats and the deep state, they are going to attempt to carry out some heinous things in the time they have remaining before the election. They obviously want to cause mass chaos, and they obviously want to scare voters away from Trump. They also are very likely to try some kind of like a Patriot Front group, attack somewhere in America, probably with racial overtones that they can blame somehow on Trump supporters. But we all know the Patriot Front group is run by the feds. That's obvious to anybody paying attention at this point. And the truth is that the Biden regime and its handlers right now are so disorganized compared to what they used to be under Barack Obama. They're so disorganized and they're so incompetent because they've been run by these woke DEI surrogates that they may not be able to pull off a convincing false flag.
We've already been watching them flounder and fumble around. January 6th, they already tried it. Charlottesville, they already tried it. If you see just like these random killings, you have to seriously question, because remember, we live in the post-MK Ultra area. And when I say post-MK Ultra area, I don't mean that MK Ultra went away or none of those other named experiments went away. I'm saying that you live in post, they've already started experimenting on us. So it's in my video about fluoride, all the killers are on psychotropics, which they put in your water, which they put in your pharmaceuticals, your food. It's in everything. It's in the air now.
I mean, they failed to assassinate Trump. They tried to pull that off, and they didn't do it. Well, that shows their incompetence. They are not able to achieve everything they try to do. Now, granted, yes, there are some things they can pull off. They can probably set off a bomb somewhere in an American city to be blamed on, whoever, Russia or China or Iran, perhaps. They can do those kinds of things. And they can dredge up fake news about Trump. And they can use AI bots to put out fake videos. All kinds of things like that. And they probably will. But the American audience today is far more sophisticated than they've ever been. They're on high alert. They know about the fakery. They know the media is lying to them. They know that this government has been weaponized against the American people. And that's going to make it extremely difficult for the regime to pull off a massive coup. Again, an election rigging.
And this is why Rondo is a raving maniac when he tells people they need to tribe up. All of this being under one federal government, that shit is cooked, bro. It's cooked. It's over. Who you voting for after Trump gone? Who? It's over. So unless y'all band together now, you're going to be up under the World Economic Forum. Because like I said, in the Blue Cap Legion, they're going to reinstitute COVID. Then they're going to come start kicking doors in. And the World Health Organization and their puppet masters are going to be running the show. You people still playing in the Matrix. Politics and voting matters. Cooked.
It's going to be very difficult for them to do it this time. And they may lack the competence to pull it off. And so what that means is that if Trump wins, then in that time period, and I've covered this before, but let me share something new with you. In that time period after the election up to Inauguration Day in January of 2025, you're going to see not just crazy physical things happening in the world. You're going to see a psychic assault on the minds of the American people. This psychic assault will attempt to drive into your mind a sense of fear based on illusion, based on, in effect, sorcery. It's going to try to make you so afraid that you run and hide instead of standing up for what you know to be right and true. They're going to try to intimidate attorneys, for example, to stop fighting for election integrity. Just like they're trying to persecute Tina Peters right now in Colorado to throw her in prison for her acts of simply attempting to conserve the voting images on the voting machines so that voting integrity could be saved and then later scrutinized or analyzed. And they're trying to throw her in prison for that. That is an intimidation tactic, and it's going to be used against many people. What we need to do, all of us who stand for truth and stand for America and stand for honest, fair, and free elections, we must dispel the fear. We must denounce the sorcery or the psychic assault, and we have to stand firm in our own strength and in our own conviction and even in our own faith, knowing that we are on the right side of history, we are on the right side of the law, and we are on the right side of God. And if we stand in that place, then what's going to happen, this is one of my predictions of what we're going to see sometime after about 90 days from now, we're going to see, remember I said, a great scare, a scare of the risk of total loss, thinking that, we've lost everything. The great scare is going to morph into the great unmasking. And the great unmasking will be the dismantling or the disassembly of the sorcerer's illusion. The emperor has no clothes. And we're going to see a falling away of the fakery as the curtain is ripped back and the little short fat man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, is exposed for pulling levers and punching buttons and projecting illusions into the consciousness of the people.
Before I let him finish, you can pull that curtain back, but you're going to be shitting your pants at what you see. It's not going to be a little fat man pressing buttons. It's going to be fucking Dracula in his vampire lord form. And he's going to grab you by the throat and rip it out. Because now that the jig is almost up, now, stuff that a lot of you, there's a debate, a lot of you are going to say all the stuff we're going to see is going to be fake. But then you have people on my side of the fence who've seen some shit physically in our face. I've documented some of it for you. The craziest stuff I didn't have a camera for, but the stuff that I've seen, I've shown you. The worlds are about to what did Black Sabbath say? When the wall falls down, when the veil drops, a lot of you people aren't going to be prepared. Hence, what he's talking about in the video. This is a good representation right there. That's going to be y'all when the ether walkers start appearing right before your eyes. And if I had to guess, kicking the door in and raising hell.
That day is coming, and it's going to be a mass awakening. It's going to be a WTF moment. I don't know. It's going to be this pivot point. I call it the shift has hit the fan, right? This is going to be a massive shift in consciousness. And anytime there's a shift in consciousness, many people are afraid. Some people will panic. Some people will feel like they've lost their anchor to reality because they are anchored to illusions. Believe it or not, many people find comfort in their illusions because at least for them, those illusions are reinforced through their social circles and their peers and the media. And even though they may be completely false, like the idea that men can have babies, it's socially reinforced. And so it feels comfortable and it feels, customary. It's familiar to these people. So remember that principle when people start to lose their minds, that many people feel more comfortable with familiar illusions rather than unfamiliar truth. And when the unfamiliar truth is exposed to them as the shift hits the fan, some of these people will psychically panic because they will feel as if they have been thrust into weightlessness, like they have been jettisoned from an orbital platform and they're floating in space with no anchor, nothing to grasp onto, because everything that they thought was real has now vanished and they have no ties to reality. Those people, some of them can become your greatest allies as they begin to anchor themselves in the real world. And then there are other people who start out there who can become the most dangerous, out of control enemies because they will thrash about. It's kind of like a person who's drowning in water and you try to save them, and the first thing that person does is they attempt to drown the person saving them.
And this is why those are the kinfolks that are in the loop. This is why it's important to get where you're going before stuff happens. Because once it kicks off to the left, I'm not trusting nobody on the other side of my property line.
Who's that stumbling around in the dark? State your business or prepare to get winged.
What do I like to call them? The bot herd horde. Interchangeable. The Walking Dead, as Chief calls y'all. NPCs, as I used to call y'all. Pick whatever term y'all like. But if you've ever watched a zombie film, like The Walking Dead, or if you've ever played a zombie video game, more of the recent ones, like Dying Light, when it goes left, you're going to be surrounded by them. There's going to be a lot more people. There's going to be a lot more Walking Dead than there are sentient beings. Just remember that.
Because they're trying to get on top of something, so they will shove the person saving them underwater to try to get on top of them. That's actually a better metaphor than floating in space. But if you encounter those people, make sure you are well grounded. Make sure that you have got yourself covered as you try to help them, even, psychically or spiritually. You try to pull them out of the drowning waters. Make sure that they don't drag you into the deep end at the same time. And yes, that's a metaphor, but there are also very real physical ramifications in that, such as when people show up begging for food and medicine and water because they did not prepare, make sure that they don't swamp your situation and steal all your supplies. In other words, make sure that you can still take care of yourself. So psychic warfare is coming to America. Massive psychic warfare, devastating psychic warfare. There will be mind games played in the next few months, the likes of which you have never seen, with all kinds of fear and threats and coercion, illusion projected into your consciousness through every means of control, pop culture, news, fact checkers, everything you can imagine. But it's all illusion. It will all fade away. The great unmasking will occur, and then there will be a new pivotal moment of mass awakening for much of humanity, with some people falling away and never recovering, and frankly, running off and dying or killing themselves or committing suicide or what have you. You can't save everybody, but we can save many, many people.
Like I just said, once the Titans and the Eat the Walkers and whatever else is out there that we got no fucking clue about, the damn kaiju start stomping around, niggas, y'all think they just gonna be coming here. What about you ninjas that's gonna disappear? We're not even gonna talk about that. I ain't gonna mess with y'all like that. But seriously, It's a reoccurring statement that I make on this channel. Don't wait until it pops off to try to do something. It's too late. The only thing you can do at that point is transition or just fight until you can't fight no more and hope you survive. But it'd be ill-advised for y'all to be going to seek refuge anywhere. You chose not to do it when the time was appropriate. You might as well just keep getting it out the mud like he was doing when people was offering. Well, there you got it, Kim folks. It ain't nothing different than what I've been saying the past 8 months. And if you're honest with yourself, you won't even see what I've been trying to convey as fear-mongering. More of warning. I'm like Rondo Rivera out here. Telling you them ninjas is coming. The ninjas is coming. And I don't mean people. Okay? But I'm past the point of invite. I'm at the point of what are you gonna do? I hope you're doing it. And that mainly goes out to all the people that spend their time debating and pontificating instead of digging and building. So with that said, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. Go on.
I am a human being. I exist.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions.
Send the word.